Ever wonder who the richest person in history was? It's not who you think. Forget today's tech billionaires or oil tycoons. We need to travel back to the 14th century, to the sprawling golden empire of Mali in West Africa, to meet its legendary ruler, Mansa Musa. His wealth was so immense, so vast, that modern economists can't even put an accurate number on it. Some say it was in the trillions of dollars, but the truth is, his fortune was simply beyond measure, beyond comprehension. This is the story of the man who held more gold than anyone, ever. The story begins in 1312, when Mansa Musa ascended to the throne of the Mali Empire. His name, Mansa, simply means King of Kings. But he wasn't just born into power. He was a visionary leader who would steer his empire into a golden age. At the time, Europe was struggling through famine and conflict. But in West Africa, Mali was a beacon of prosperity and stability. Its power was built on one thing above all else: gold. The empire sat on some of the world's most abundant gold mines, and Mansa Musa held absolute control over this glittering resource. But it wasn't just about digging gold out of the ground. Mansa Musa was a strategic genius. He expanded Mali's borders, stretching the empire over 2,000 miles from the Atlantic coast, incorporating major cities like Timbuktu and Gao. This gave him control over the critical trans-Saharan trade routes. Caravans of camels, sometimes thousands strong, journeyed across the vast desert, carrying precious goods. From the south came gold, ivory, and kola nuts. From the north came salt, a commodity so valuable it was often traded for its weight in gold, along with textiles, horses, and books. Mansa Musa taxed this trade, turning his empire into an economic powerhouse and securing his position as its undisputed master. His influence was felt across Africa and into the Mediterranean world, making Mali a name synonymous with unimaginable wealth. But for all his power and riches, it was a single journey that would cement Mansa Musa's name in the annals of history forever. In 1324, as a devout Muslim, he decided to undertake the Hajj, the sacred pilgrimage to Mecca. This was no ordinary trip. This was a procession of such staggering scale and opulence that it would become the stuff of legend. Imagine this: a caravan of 60,000 people snaking its way across the desert. This included 12,000 personal attendants, each dressed in fine silks and carrying a 4-pound gold bar. The procession also included soldiers, officials, entertainers, merchants, and a train of 80 camels, each one loaded with up to 300 pounds of pure gold dust. The journey covered nearly 4,000 miles. As this river of people and gold moved through the Sahara, it was a moving city, a spectacle of wealth unlike anything the world had ever seen. When the caravan arrived in Cairo, Egypt, the city was left in absolute awe. The Mamluk Sultan of Egypt, Al-Nasir Muhammad, was one of the most powerful rulers of his time. Yet even he was stunned by the sheer magnificence of Mansa Musa's entourage. It was in Cairo that Mansa Musa's legendary generosity was put on full display. He gave away gold to everyone he met, from the Sultan's court officials to the poor people on the streets. He poured so much gold into the city, building mosques, funding charities, and spending lavishly in the markets, that he single-handedly changed its economy. The economic impact was immediate and dramatic. Mansa Musa had injected such a massive amount of gold into Cairo that its value plummeted. The local currency was devalued, and it took the city's economy more than a decade to recover from the sudden inflation. This single act demonstrates the sheer scale of his personal fortune. He had so much gold that he could crash the economy of one of the world's most prosperous cities just by being generous. News of this golden king from West Africa spread like wildfire. Maps in Europe, which had previously shown West Africa as a blank space, began to feature the King of Mali, often depicted sitting on a golden throne, holding a golden scepter and a massive gold nugget. Mansa Musa had literally put his empire on the map. After completing his pilgrimage to Mecca, Mansa Musa began his long journey home. But he didn't return just with the prestige of a completed Hajj. He brought back with him the brightest minds of the Islamic world: scholars, architects, poets, and scientists. His vision was no longer just about wealth. It was about transforming his empire into a global center of culture and learning. His focus was Timbuktu. Under his patronage, the city blossomed. He commissioned the legendary architect Abu Ishaq al-Sahili, whom he met in Mecca, to build magnificent new mosques and buildings. The most famous of these is the Jingareber Mosque, a stunning example of Sudano-Sahelian architecture made from earth and timber, which still stands today as a testament to his legacy. Timbuktu became a legendary city of knowledge. Mansa Musa established universities and libraries, most notably the University of Sankore. Scholars from across Africa and the Middle East flocked to the city, making it a hub for Islamic scholarship, astronomy, mathematics, medicine, and law. The libraries of Timbuktu housed hundreds of thousands of manuscripts, becoming one of the world's greatest collections of written knowledge. Far from being just a remote trading post, Timbuktu, under Mansa Musa, rivaled the great intellectual centers of the world. He had transformed his empire's material wealth into a lasting cultural and intellectual fortune. Mansa Musa ruled for about 25 years, leaving behind an empire that was not only incredibly wealthy, but also intellectually vibrant and architecturally beautiful. After his death around 1337, his sons inherited the throne, but they lacked his vision and leadership. The empire gradually began to decline, facing internal conflicts and external pressures. Eventually, the Great Mali Empire fragmented, and its golden age came to an end. But the legacy of its greatest king endured. So, when we talk about the richest person in history, the conversation has to include Mansa Musa. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from history. See you in the next one.